Okay, we are back to if statements, and this time we are going to solve a problem that was in the project, which most of you didn't get it 100% correctly, and I realized that there's a need to explain this further, how the if statements actually work with when it's a range of data that we are looking at. In this case, we had to see if the student got below 50, 50 and above, that means including 50, and or above 70 and above 95. Let's look at the code. The method received the number of correct questions, number that the user got correct and number of questions he attempted. Before we calculated the percentage, there's another if statement. We can see the use of an if statement here as well. In this case, we have the not equal to 0. If the user attempted at least one question, that means the number of questions is not equal to 0, that's the only time we should go and calculate the percentage. Because if we try to calculate the percentage when it's 0, it's a division by 0, which gives a runtime error. And some of you did have that runtime error come. So this should be inside that if statement. If this was outside, it's going to calculate without checking. And notice the curly brackets open here and closing. This is the else bit. This else means the number of questions is 0, the opposite. Always look at the if statement condition, and the else is the opposite. If the condition says it's not equal to 0, what is the opposite? It is equal to 0. The number of questions is 0. Then we give the message, sad to see that you don't want to do any questions. So that's the only else part of that if statement. But all these in here is a set of so many if statements, if else's inside that when this condition is true. The first thing is that we display the message, thank you for playing the times table tester, because they've attempted now at least one question. And then calculate the percentage. Now looking at the percentage after displaying the percentage, notice result is equal to this many out of this many, and then the percentage is mark. Okay, that's displayed, and after that now we compare to see if the mark is greater than 95. In this example, I'm actually going backwards, right? Before we started from below 50 in the last one, this time I'm starting from here, the highest. Is it above 95? Okay, it is above 95. Display excellent. Now we don't have to worry about anything else. Is the mark above 95? That's all we are checking. We're not checking a range. We are eliminating. Once we got rid of everything over 95, display the message excellent. Else, that means when do we come here? The opposite, which means that is the mark is less than or equal to 95. So when you enter this range, when you come into this else bit, that means the mark is less than or equal to 95, the opposite. Then we ask the question, is the mark greater than 70 now? We're looking at the next bit. See, above 70, we give the message good try. So above 70, greater than 70, message good try. Else, now if that is not true either, this means the mark is, the opposite is less than or equal to 70. The mark is less than or equal to 70. And we get in here when it is less than or equal to 70. Now we don't need to worry about anything high. We are now checking, if it's not that, what's the next one possible? Is at 50 and above. So we have greater than or equal to 50. A lot of you missed this, and some of you put the equal sign here. Okay, this does not include 95, but only the 50. So we say, is mark greater than or equal to 50? Then we display the message, need to improve. Notice, 50 and above, need to improve. Okay, now, the else bit of this, what is the next possibility? If it's not greater than or equal to 50, the possibility is, that is, mark is, opposite of greater than or equal to 50 is less than 50. Okay, now It automatically meets this one, isn't it? Below 50, that's what's left. We don't have any more conditions to check. That's what's left. Serious study needed. So then we display else serious study needed. We didn't need another if statement because this was part of it. Okay, the opposite, the only thing that is left is that. Now, after these statements are carried out, where does this if statement end? This if statement ends when at this, after serious studies. Even though not all of them get executed, but the if statement ends there. Okay, and then when that if statement ends, okay, let's say somebody got 98, display excellent. It doesn't go into any of these, okay, doesn't go into that. It only does this line, and then where does it go next? Notice that if statement is over, it goes to the next statement. Next is an if statement on its own. It's in sequence. Okay, it's not part of the, it's not nested if, it's a separate if statement. So it will carry this if statement out as well. When it carries this if statement, it's checking. Now the person got 98. Now it's going to check, is the mark not equal to 100? That means if they didn't get full marks, if they didn't get everything correct, we display, please memorize what you got wrong. Here's what you got wrong. Display all of them. Now notice the else part of that. If this is the one condition, mark is not equal to 100, what does the else part mean? Okay, this means mark is, what's the opposite of not equal to 100? Mark is equal to 100. Okay, that means mark is equal to 100. Right? When the mark is equal to 100, we have this special message to say go out and play. Now they've played enough on the computer, learning game, now they have to go out and play. So can you see there's this another set of if statements after this one. It's not within that, it's separate. So it will still go into that and check this. Always understand the opposite, what the opposite part means. Okay, and then that is it. Okay, it was a whole heap of if statement, and this one, this project, this part really tested your understanding of if statements. Okay, right. I think that should be enough for this. Yes, that will be enough for this. Thank you. Bye.